These are the 5 website mistakes that are killing your business and even making you lose sales. And today, I want to walk you through every single mistake that you could be facing in your business right now when it comes into your website and what you can do to fix each mistake. So let's go in and let's break this down. You see, the key thing you want to understand when you're breaking down different parts of your website and how you can make improvements is looking first at what people see when they land onto your page. This is what we call above the fold. These are the actual simple shots that as soon as they land on your page, what's the first thing that they see? Here I've done a snippet of some of my favorite SaaS products right now on the market and what you can see from them and what they have when they land. Very good image, very clear H1, heading 1, which is the main copy on the page, the main headline on the page. They got very simple sub copy or subtext underneath the main header that explain even more what the value proposition is. They have a clear call to action so that people know what to do next. They also have what we call an action orientated or action focused call to action, and I'll break it down later on. And they also have a very simple navigation at the top of the page that direct the user onto other products and features inside of the SaaS product so that you can go and see even further. These are some key elements to understand when it comes onto when people land on your page, whether you do it as a 1 column, whether you do it as 2 columns, left and right. On Shopify's page, for example, they have a video that plays in the background. On PayPal, Stripe, and some up here, they use images and they have different layouts on those images. Irrespective of the layout, when people first land on your page, what is it that you offer? Who is it that you offer it to? How is it beneficial to me? And how can I learn more about your product or service when they scroll down and learn more about your business? The next thing you got to understand is that Jakob Nielsen, when he was breaking down how long do users stay on a web page, users often leave a web page in 10 to 20 seconds, but pages with clear value proposition can hold people's attention for much longer. To gain several minutes of users' attention, you must clearly communicate your value proposition within 10 seconds. I love this example here from Reloom, which is really targeted to a younger demographic, where they say change the way you money. Very simply put, and then when you go further into Reloom's product website, this landing page on their homepage goes into the product. It shows you shots of the actual cards, shows you how the money works, the fact that you can have multiple cards on their service and how it helps you to manage your money even better. And you can also see in the graphic who they're speaking to and how it's laid out as well. So this is a really important thing to think about when it comes onto when you're laying out your pages and how you can make your pages work for you. I'm really in love with this design from Dollar Shave Club. This is really targeted to males, men who like to shave. Personally, I use shears, that's my thing. But the landing page is fun. It has all the key ingredients I spoke of before. It helps users to find the perfect product a lot easier. And when you land on the page, they draw you into a quiz that goes even further. Dollar Shave Club's website heavily promotes their quiz, which helps customers find the right shaving solutions for them. It's promoted within 2 call to actions above the fold on their homepage as soon as people land onto the page. So when they send you into your quiz, you have a shot of the product, they ask you some simple questions, and based upon your responses, they give you an option on what they think is best based upon what you ask them. So this is a great tactic to actually funnel people down to find the right solution for them. And people don't mind going through this process if you're giving them something that's relevant based upon what you're asking them as well. You even see on their website where they have key benefits to the product as well. So they go much deeper into explaining how those benefits are relevant to them based upon their product. But fundamentally, how do these benefits solve the customer's pain points? They make sure they put that on their website as well. The reason why this is key for you to understand, when it comes on to designing websites, is because Harvard's professor says that 95% of purchasing decisions are subconscious. Goes on to explain that it's mainly emotion and then logic. So it's emotion first that drives your buying decision, and then logic that follows afterwards. So this is why when we're designing our landing pages, we're speaking to both emotion and the logic behind the decision we want them to make, and also making sure that what we're offering them aligns to what they need. You can see here even further on the Dollar Shave Club website that when you move on the checkout, that they have made their website fun by having something which they call the relationship bundle. So they know if men are buying shavers, they know that women also use them as well on things like their legs. So they see, you can sell a male and female bundle. They call it the relationship bundle, which is quite clever based upon who their target demographic is, right? You can see that when you check out and you're still scrolling, you can try and have key buttons on the page that lead to other offers, so that you can basically say things in a light and amusing way to keep people emotionally tied into what they're doing as well on your website. So this is super important. Remember, the buying decisions are mainly driven by this subconscious emotional motive that someone has behind the pain that they're feeling. So speak to that pain, have the key benefits on the page, highlight those benefits in the features that you have within your product. This will be super helpful for them going forward. The number 2 mistake that you sometimes find is slow loading speed, but specifically on mobile. Recently, one of the clients that I've been working with has a website in the B2B SaaS fintech space, and their website, for some reason, as we've been using it, we've been running ads, we were getting traffic to the site. 95% of the people who go to their website go via mobile first. 95%. I personally have never seen this in my 12 plus years of doing this, but for this website, for some reason, 95%, which means it's completely changed my strategy, even from an ad standpoint strategy, even from a web design standpoint, to be able to think, how do we optimize their page even faster and make the experience on mobile the best it can possibly be? Now, with more people using your websites for mobile, making sure that you squeeze down the size of your images using a website like tinypng.com is going to be super valuable for your business going forward, because it means that when people load your site, the image sizes are not going to slow their page down by trying to download all these images on your web page. The second thing is you want to make sure you have a fast hosting service. Personally, I use the Squarespace domains. There's another company here called Agile Tech Solutions that you can go to as well, to be able to allow you to find fast hosting, reliable hosting. agiletechsolutions.co.uk or Squarespace domains. Those are the 2 that I personally prefer. But you can use any of these hosting platforms that make sense for you and your business. But you want a secure hosting platform, fast hosting platform. Find a domain name you want, which you should have already, but maybe make sure it's secure, make sure it's fast, and make sure also when you need support that the domains that you're going to, you have a way of getting support, which is super important, because there's always something that will go wrong, especially when it comes to tech, right? And the next thing you got to think about is how can you see and quickly identify the problems on your website. So using a website like Page Speed Insights or Page Speed Tests, this website is super important for you to see very quickly, where are there problems with my website, what's happening with accessibility, what's happening with the performance of my website, what's happening with the search engine optimization score of my website, making sure that you record that and see what the problems are, especially on mobile and on desktop, but more now on mobile because more people are just navigating the web on their mobiles. This is going to be valuable for you as well. So one of the key platforms that I use to make sure I have good mobile speed is using Webflow. Webflow is a powerful CMS tool that I build all of my websites on, because with Webflow, you get a secure CSS, SSL for security. You get fast loading speed because their CDN, their content delivery network, is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best on the market. They work with a range of customers from small to large enterprises, and your website can scale on their platform from a small startup to a much bigger enterprise with massive marketing teams who need to leverage a CMS on Webflow. And I've used Webflow on their enterprise plan and on their entry-level plan all the way through for the past 5 years. It's one of the best website platforms I've personally found and used. I switched from WordPress to Webflow to be able to actually allow me to do this, but I can use WordPress if necessary. But all my website builds now are done on Webflow for that purpose. Now, that helps me to that when I'm building mobile websites, I can very quickly switch in the CMS that I'm building the websites in, fix and make improvements on mobile, publish it right away, then go and test it via the test link on my phone as soon as it's published, and it publishes the updates you make within seconds. So it's super valuable. So when you're actually designing on mobile, you have to make sure that you optimize all of the formats of your images to be in WebP or SVG ideally. Why? Because these formats work very well on the web. So especially your company logo that you put on your website, make sure they're all in SVG format, for example. All your web images, you can convert them to WebP. And what's great about Webflow, even if you upload a JPEG into the Webflow's assets panel, Webflow will do all the conversion and optimization of your assets for you. So this is why I love a platform like Webflow, because it takes all the heavy lifting out of it for you. You can shrink all your images in tiny PNG, upload them into Webflow's asset panel. Then it can actually do the formatting of your images for you into Webflow, and you can do it all in one setting, or you can just upload your images and do them one by one, depending upon what you have on your website. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is inconsistent branding. And I'm going to do another video where I go deeper into the branding piece, because this is such an important factor when it comes onto not just how you reflect your brand, but when it comes onto generating leads. You want to build trust, and people that actually want to integrate with your brand or want to do business with you, they're going to do their own research on you, because Google did a study and they call it the 7-11-4 rule when it comes on to customers making a purchase. So think of it as 7 touch points, 11 different locations, and 4 different places, 7 hours of content, 7 hours of content, 11 different locations, and 4 different touch points. This is super important for you to think about when it comes on to how you're creating content. I'm going to create another video on that. But when we talk about the branding piece, there's kind of 4 main kind of pillars of branding. Very quickly, I'm going to touch on. So who are your customers? So the demographics, the psychographics, being very clear on who you're speaking to. What is the value that you're offering with your service to make sure your products and services, to make sure there's benefit and key impact to your customers. Make sure there's a strong tone of voice to communicate in your style that speaks directly to their pain points and the challenges that they have. And what's the look and feel of what you have that reflects your brand, that shows the assets across different platforms, different touch points, you know, whether it's social, web, email, ads, etc. How is it all connected? That needs to be very clear. So all these four key points are going to be key when it comes on to actually going into the branding of your website. A gentleman called Chris Doe put this structure together. It's not mine. I give it to Chris Doe. He put this together as a simple way to think about this. But I like to use this as a way of thinking about what I'm doing for a customer when it comes onto designing their websites. If you look at a website like Ling Cars, this is always an extreme that we use in the design space to show that you can have a website that has some inconsistent brand elements, or it could look chaotic, but it's consistent for that brand because in every other touch point, they have this chaotic style of design that works for them. Now, if you are designing it and you have the goal of conversion, chaotic design is not helpful for conversion, because when you're trying to convert someone to make a purchase decision, you need to simplify the number of decisions that they're going to make on the page. So the more simpler decisions, the faster they can take action, the quicker you can get them through your actual funnel. So looking at a website like Tesla is super good. Why? Because Tesla, they've made it really simple because they have these 2 options, and based upon these options, you can very quickly see what you need to do. Do you want to test drive a car, or do you want to purchase a car? Very, very quick, simple, very simple product, very clear call to action, very clear value proposition. We know the brand Tesla, many of us, therefore it's going to be a very simple action they want to take when someone's coming to the website, right? Now, let me go into my 4th point. The 4th point is about a lack of clear calls to action. Now, so many of us think of it as like, you know, get started, learn more, buy now. That's one way of having call to actions on your page. But here's a summary of mistakes that I've noticed that I can see online. You know, generic CTAs, overloading your page with multiple calls to action, poor placement of the call to action button on the page, failing to differentiate the primary and secondary button. It could be from colors or styling, neglecting mobile users in your call to action design. I always now like to think mobile first, then look at desktop, depending upon the demographic and looking at the data that you're getting out of tools like Google Analytics as well. Ignoring your sales funnel to make sure that your call to actions are very clear, lacking a clear value proposition, missing out on A/B testing and different types of call to actions, forgetting to update the call to action or designing the call to action to blend in with the background. These are some mistakes you see. Using the same CTAs across all marketing material is not always helpful, and not leveraging social proof or urgency enough when it comes onto your call to actions. So when we look at these call to action buttons, I've put some examples here of what I call action-orientated call to action, or action-orientated first person. You are the person that I want to make this decision. Think of it as, you know, book a call to book a free strategy call, or download now to download your free blueprint, or start now to start your 14-day free trial, or book a call book a recycle. So I said that before, little mistake, but you know what I mean. The point I'm making is like, how do you elevate the call to action button to be focused on the action that they're going to take? In other words, when they click on this button, what's happening next, so that when they actually see what you're telling them to do, they have a clear management. There's a management of expectation, as subtle as it may be. Adding in a few extra keywords to focus on the action they're about to take is super essential and helpful when it comes onto conversion in your funnels as well. Now, let's go into my fifth point. My fifth point is about confusing navigation. This is super important because if people cannot navigate your website, they won't be able to find your products and services. So when it comes onto your navigation, 3 things you want to think about is all navigation buttons should be clearly labeled and easily understood. So try to use 1-2 words at max, not too much, in your navigation to highlight the places you want to take them, the actions you want them to take. Avoid using too many drop-down menus and lead them to yet more drop-down menus. So have one simple action, one simple drop-down menu. So it's not drop-down menu to drop-down menu to drop-down menu. That's not ideal. You know, there's other ways that you can organize your navigation if there's multiple pages you need to take them to. For example, you can throw additional pages or pages that don't get as much traffic into the footer, or you can have simpler combined pages, for example. These simple tactics you can use. Third point here is steer clear of links that lead to dead ends. Think of it as no dead ends. Go through all of the journeys on your website, make sure there's no dead ends, and if there are, make sure you fix that very quickly. All journeys through your site should end in a call to action, whether that's in a sales page, a contact form, or even signing up for your newsletter. Think about the customer journey, go through it and make it make sense. 2 websites that are some extremes around navigation. Many people, if not all of us, have used them. Amazon is a great example of a site with very difficult, very confusing navigation, but we're so used to navigating it in its confusion that we just get by because the convenience of what we're doing makes it make sense eventually. And generally people can find what they're looking for, or at times they can't find what they're looking for. But it's an example of a site where the navigation is so overwhelming that you have to go there with clear intention. So you're just determined to find the thing that you want. So the intention changes how we perceive the difficulty that we're going through, because the goal that we seek is so important that we're willing to have a little bit of uncomfortability to be able to find what we want. Another site is a site I like. I like to get some clothes at times from Zara. So Zara is an example of a website where the navigation is weird. Sometimes you're using the site, you know, they have on desktop especially, like the way that the navigation is placed, it can be very awkward, very difficult to use. But that's an example of a site where they can definitely improve their navigation and make it much simpler. But you know, they're getting millions of hits, millions of in-store footfall. So sometimes people, once again, because the goal is so important, people will put up with the frustration because you want the clothes, because you value what you're trying to seek at the end. But if your product is there and it's the early days of you working on your website, you're driving people, focus on best practice around things like the navigation, around things like content creation, the landing page structure. These are super important going forward. When it comes to SaaS specifically, this is where I specialize. A product like High Level is a product that's making millions each month, but I have caveat, but this product is very buggy. It has some super challenges when it comes onto the confusion people feel when they first load the page. You have to go through a long-winded onboarding process, and it does take you a good couple months to really understand how to fully utilize the product effectively. And when you go to their homepage, there's not like sub-feature pages. There's not enough information, and the website and the actual design looks very dated and really does need a rehaul, in my personal opinion. Because they have the money to do it, I think High Level personally should go for a big rebrand, but that's just me. But you know, some people do agree with me, and others have used it so long that they just put up with the uncomfortability of High Level, because it's so powerful in the back end through their automations, email marketing, CRM, etc. I basically use Webflow to design websites, and I have High Level on the back end as my CRM to be able to manage things for some of the customers that I serve. This can work with B2B SaaS. This can work with service-based businesses. It's a very powerful tool and super good to use. I also use Stripe on a personal level. And the reason why I like Stripe, super powerful, super easy to use. When you go to their navigation, everything is bucketed really easy and chunked down into small sections so you can see more information or more insights much easier. And I know there's massive teams behind these different pages because I've worked in SaaS companies. So I've seen where, you know, one page on a website, a whole team is just managing that section, especially at the level that Stripe is. So Stripe is an example of a website that has their navigation tapped in really well. So definitely check out Stripe as an example as well. And once again, going back to Tesla, very simple product, especially if you're a company that has a very simple product. Leveraging a simple navigation is really essential. Looking at a company like Tesla is an example of that as well. And if you're a business that would love to get a free website review, I'm giving away some free website reviews. I do only a few each month to be able to go deeper into your website and break down not only where your website can make improvements, but I will run for you a free report that shows all of your SEO optimization options and content marketing options to be able to see where you could make improvements as well. And I'll do a UX review on your website to see what improvements can be made. And this will all be done for free for you. Takes me about 15-20 minutes, but I'll give that away to you for free. So just go to this website, flowconverts.com/review. Click on that link, add in your website, and I will, and a few details about how I should contact you. And I'll send over a free review for you of your website today. All right. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you've enjoyed it and you've got some value today. I'd love for you just go to the comments and just let me know which mistake you're going to work on for your business and what you're going to start to fix today. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. Like and subscribe and click that bell for more videos from me. And if you'd love to know more, just get in touch with me. You'll see my contact details in the description box below. Take care and look after yourself. And I can't wait to speak to you soon. Bye-bye.